What's up, everybody? Ryan the Vintage Viking. I have a bunch of books that I've picked up at a local bookstore that I had some credit at, as well as ordered a few different things online. Just want to share them with you guys and throw them out there, see if anybody's read them or if you have some recommendations for other similar ones, what have you. I don't know. It's just fun to talk about them. So I picked up, actually I think this was in another video. Pretty sure. Yeah. I picked up this book by Scott Carson, The Chill. It looked kind of interesting. I haven't heard anything about Scott Carson or anything like that, so I thought I'd just give it a shot, see what it was like. Has some good reviews or praises on the back, whatever. And so I thought it would be worth, taking a chance and seeing how it is. So I grabbed it. If you've heard anything about that or you know anything about it, whether it's good, bad, what have you, feel free to let me know. I also grabbed this one. I think this is going to be more of like an isolation thriller rather than a horror. I saw this cover and I thought, oh man, that's fantastic. And I initially thought when I saw that it was deep underwater and there was like, I don't know, you're trying to survive underwater. I picked up Dead Silence, the S.A. Barnes book that's come out, I think, fairly recently, and that one looks fantastic too. I think I spoke about that one, but this kind of gave me the same vibe, and so I thought, oh, I'm gonna grab this. But I think this is like a in like an isolation, goes into a cave, something happens, stuck, needs to get out, and it's kind of psychological thriller. But hopefully it's more than that. If it's greater than that, I'd be, I mean, if it's like a horror where there's actually something going on in there, something monstrous or what have you. If you've seen The Descent, if it's something like that, oh boy, I'd be happy. I would be happy. I'm happy. I went down to this bookstore that's kind of the opposite. I went last time over to Santa Rosa to trade in some books. Now I went that's not really opposite, but a different direction down to Napa, which is an hour and 15 minutes away from me, hour and 30. Went to visit some friends, and I also wanted to go to the bookstore there and trade in books and get some store credit. So I traded in a bunch of books. I got some store credit, and I picked out some things. Some I paid full price for, new, and some I got used. This was one of them that I got used. I partially started watching this movie at some point, and I don't remember why I stopped. So I kind of want to go back and watch the movie and finish it, but I also want to read the book. And I think I remember Moyd at Media Death Cult reviewing this and saying that he really enjoyed it and that was something worth watching or worth reading. So I went ahead and picked it up. I have never seen this at like a thrift store or used book place or anything like that. So sometimes that's a good sign that people don't give up, the book that they love, or it's just too new to not be around yet. From what I understand, it's a good take on the zombie genre, and I love pretty much anything and everything having to do with zombies, even if it's cheesy, even if it's B-movie, low budget, crap writing, whatever. I just love zombie stuff. So, and I'm not tired of it yet. So, I'm down with the zombie book. So I also picked up Kaiju Preservation Society from John Scalzi. I've read like, 3 or 4 chapters so far. I just kind of started reading it the other night before bed. And I just love his writing. Everything I've read from him so far has been fantastic. So I'm totally into it. Happy to read more. And I, so far, recommend it to anybody. I know that my buddy Ryan over at Conan the Librarian has just started reading this as well. If you're not following Conan the Librarian on YouTube, you need to go do that. Go hit like, subscribe, all that. A couple videos ago, I did a review of all the books that I read during the month of January. My number one book was, you're going to have to go back and check it out, but it had something to do with this guy, John Scalzi. And it made me want to read everything that he's got. So I went ahead and picked up a bunch of stuff having to do with the Old Man's War series. I accidentally grabbed a couple duplicates, and I kind of accidentally do that from time to time, and it's not the best. Some of them I already had in my stacks of books that I didn't realize. Some of them I had picked up at a thrift store. At the same time, they were on their way here from eBay, and some of them I picked up at that bookstore the other day. So I was trying to make sure I got them all, and I accidentally bought a couple doubles. So I'll put those on Whatnot for anybody who's interested, and you may want to read them as well. I also grabbed The Mountain in the Sea by Naylor. I've heard this thing reviewed, I don't know how many times. I think Rachel at Shades of Orange has reviewed it. I think Whitney at Secret Sauce of Storycraft has reviewed it. I think Jonathan over at Words in Time has reviewed it. So there's probably more, but I'm pretty sure I've heard a review from all of them just on this, and it was all good, positive reviews. So I wanted to go ahead and pick this up because, I mean, if that many people are reading it and saying it's great, it's probably worth reading. I can't quite remember the premise right now, but I remember hearing about the premise and going, ooh, that sounds really good, and I want to read that. I'm hoping that it's something exciting and that I can just dive right in and dig right through it, and I'm looking forward to it. I did pay full price for this one. I mean, it was $30 almost, so with tax it was probably more than $30. But I did have that store credit, so basically it was free, right? Not really. I paid for all the books before that and then traded them in for less money and then used that money to buy a more expensive book, so it doesn't quite... I tried. I also, while I was there, picked up this book series. It's Neddy Okorafor. Neddy Okorafor. That's how I'm guessing it's pronounced. Neddy Okorafor. I could totally be wrong, but I saw that was Hugo and Nebula Award winner. I kind of remember someone mentioning something about this book at some point, but I couldn't place it. And they had all three, and it seemed like it wouldn't be a bad risk to take a shot and read these ones. So I went ahead and grabbed them. They're fairly smaller books. I mean, this one's teeny tiny pretty much, and then the other two get a little bigger as they go. But it's all three, and it happened to be all three in one shot sitting there. So I thought, I'm probably not going to come across that chance to find all three in one place again, so I might as well go for it. I picked up Peter Watts' Starfish. I have Maelstrom. I forget what the third one is, but I've heard that this one is excellent, and so I've been waiting to find it. I'm waiting to find it. Never found it. I've been dying to read it. I think this is exactly right up my alley, having to do with an undersea station kind of thing and all that. So that I'm stoked about, and so I'll probably dig into this one real soon as well. John Scalzi Head On. I think this is a Deadly Game type thing. I picked up a bunch of John Scalzi, like I said, so I'm just trying to find everything Scalzified. It's a new word. Everybody's going to be using it. It's going to catch on. I'm telling you. I picked up this set. Actually, I ordered it on eBay. I had wanted to read these anyway. I saw them. So I was at that bookstore, and they had them there used for like $15 or $18 each. Something like that. So it was going to be like 45 to $50. For all three, and I was going, man, they gotta be cheaper online, even though I have the store credit, it's gotta be cheaper. I still want to save money, so I looked on eBay, and this brand new set was like $30, and it was the cheapest one that had the full set. So I think you could get each individual book for like $12 to $15, but that's still more than $30. So maybe they were 10 at the most, but I'd have to pick through and find all three, and who knows what condition. But I got a brand new set for basically, the cheapest price you can get them for on there. So that was a good deal. This has a Netflix movie coming out, or maybe TV show, but I think that's in the works to come out next year. So for the Three Body Problem. So I'd like to read these before that happens. This one, my buddy recommended that I went to the bookstore with. He recommended getting this. It is Stories of Your Life and Others by Ted Chiang, and this has the basis for the movie Arrival in it, and I have never really heard of this, but he said it was really excellent and that I should read it, so I went ahead and grabbed it. It was $8.50, so hopefully it's worth it. I ordered this one. I've heard a lot of reviews about this one. I know Juan over at Plagued by Visions has reviewed this one. I think Criminale has reviewed this one. You know, this one's been reviewed a few times. It's supposed to be kind of disturbing and good. I picked this one up in hardcover. I have the paperback version of this, but I wanted to grab one that was with this cover art. The paperback one I have isn't the same cover art, and I really like this one. So I thought, you know what? Probably not going to just find this one. I'll go ahead and grab it. It was at that bookstore. It was $10, which isn't too bad. So I thought it was a good use of my store credit. My buddy also recommended to me that I read Neil Stephenson. So I've been grabbing a bunch of Neil Stephenson, but we saw this one there and he said it was excellent, worth reading. It is a, you know, eco thriller, and so, you know, different type, but he said it was worth reading and pretty good. So I went ahead and grabbed it. I think it was like $4, so not too bad. I picked up this. This is the second part of the, or revised part of the 100 best horror books. So there's a list of all the different, like 100 best books that have been since, I think now 2000 and I think it's 2003 or 4. And then there's people that give a little synopsis about the book or talk about the book. And so I was kind of thinking it'd be fun to have maybe find every book that's in this one or the other one that I have. Earlier edition of this, which was in like 90s that it came out. So this is like an updated one. I also picked up this, the Paperbacks from Hell. It is the kind of the who's who of all the 70s and 80s paperbacks, horror paperbacks. Talks about the origin of, or the kind of restart of horror in paperbacks. And I've read a little bit of it so far. I kind of want to find every one of these also. I have a couple. I have like this one, Death Tour with that cover. I have the Tulpa, different cover though. I really want to get the Little People. That one looks fantastic. If not anything, just to have the cover. I mean, I have Amityville Horror 2 there. I have the pack already. So anyways, there's a lot of cool history in here to read about when it comes to horror paperback. I had also read during January Kathy Koja's first book, and I enjoyed it enough to want to read more from what she has. So I went ahead and picked up a few more of her books. They're kind of harder to find. Some of them are cheap, some of them are not. The two that are supposed to be the best ones are much more expensive, and they are not ones you just find every day. So those ones I paid up a little bit more for. One of them's not even here yet. It's supposed to be here on Monday. And the other is Bad Brains. And that is a gnarly cover. And I'm not even going to show you the inside because it's even more gnarly. So figured I'd give it a shot. I've heard that one, Bad Brains, and then Skin is really good. Skin's the one that's on the way. I don't know about anything else of hers. So I grabbed Under the Poppy by her. I don't know anything about these ones at all. I just went ahead and grabbed them because these ones were the cheaper ones. Extremities, Kissing the Bee, then Strange Angels. And I think this is the fourth one. So we'll see. We'll see if those are any good. So that's it for what I picked up recently, what was on eBay, things like that. I kind of like to go through that before I just meld them into my bookshelf, because then I don't really know which ones I've shown and which ones I haven't. Some of those are going to end up in my pile of ones that are next on the list to read, my 150 whatever 100 plus challenge to read. My goal is to get through everything in that pile, and if I add some more to it, then it just makes the pile a little bit bigger. But I'm trying not to be crazy and just add everything. These are ones that I really want to read through, that have been on my list for a while, or that I find super interesting and I really want to go through. So those ones I'm trying to get through. I'm hoping to get through at least 100 this year. Not as like a race to just get through books, just to get through books, but I do like to read a lot anyway, and I'm just trying to be more purposeful about reading more. I want to make sure that my time is less spent on things like TV or video games or whatever I might spend my free time on. When it's time that I would use for myself, I'd rather spend it on reading. Oh snap, I don't know if you guys saw this. I forgot two that I got in my big bundle of books that I was pretty shocked by. I bought like 650, 700 books or something like that, had them shipped here, and I didn't get to see any of them. I just said I want all vintage sci-fi or horror, vintage horror. So load me up as best you can. That's one. And these aren't like the only good ones I got, but these are kind of top ones. Solaris, Stanislaw Lem. I have never found this out in the wild, and I've heard wonderful things about this. I think Matt on Bookpilled, I think this is his #1 book right now that he's read either this past year or in total, I can't remember. Heard from several people that this is an excellent book. So that one is pretty amazing find for basically being like 50 cents to $1, whatever. So, and then this one, I probably screamed a little, and I could not believe that it was just sitting in there in the pile of the rest of the books in a box, wrapped in plastic and shipped to me media mail. The Thing. Actual vintage copy of The Thing. Nuts. I think the cheapest way you can find this, or the cheapest price you can find this for on eBay, is like $90, 75 to $100, somewhere in there. Like, that's kind of nutty. And I've always wanted it. I've always wanted to read it. I love movie like tie-ins or movie adaptations or things like that. I don't know why I love those so much, but this one is one of my holy grails that I was hoping for, and the movie novelization of Event Horizon, in case you guys ever find that one and you want to be really nice. That one's up there too as one of my holy grails to find, and I think that one's pretty darn expensive too. Ooh, well, this is one of those paperback from hell ones, but I actually got this one, and then I found another one like the next day, so I have two. Check out Whatnot, because this will probably be on there, and you guys can get a heck of a steal of a deal on something like this, if that's your thing. Thank you guys, appreciate you. I know everybody and their stinking grandma says this, but if you guys wouldn't mind hitting that subscribe button, maybe the like, the little thummy thingies,